Are you a senior thinking about your different housing options? Maybe you don't want to age in place, or you're deciding that aging in place no longer is working for you. Or maybe you have a loved one that needs to consider options instead of just aging in place. We're going to talk today about a lot of options that seniors have with housing if they're not just aging in place. We're going to break down the difference between the different types of communities for seniors and how to know what the right fit is for you where you are in your life. I'm Andrea West. I'm a seniors real estate specialist, and I've been a realtor since 2010. My team and I throughout North America, with our additional education and training from the National Association of Realtors, we are here to help seniors and their loved ones make more informed decisions when it comes to housing. With us, understanding and compassion are at the heart of all we do. We understand housing is just one piece of that puzzle, but it's part of the bigger picture of you and your senior's life. We would love to offer you a free consultation. We have an email and toll-free number also listed in our contact information. Please reach out anytime, and a QR code in our banner if you want to book a Zoom meeting. So today we're going to talk about some of the most common terms people hear when they're talking about seniors and housing. When selecting the right fit for you or your loved one, it's important to remember there's no one size fits all for everyone. Seniors often find that they'll start in one type of community and perhaps transition to a different type of community as they age and their needs change. This is a very natural process. So we're going to talk about the different types of communities for seniors who are no longer aging at home. The different types of communities we're going to talk about are retirement communities, independent living communities, assisted living communities, skilled nursing communities, and continuing care retirement communities. So what exactly is a retirement community? A retirement community is a little more of a generalized statement. It can be a slightly broad term for a community that is focused for seniors ages 55 plus and their families. So oftentimes it is associated with a more independent lifestyle and lots of activities. Sometimes it'll be a fitness center or a gym and a sauna and a pool and maybe even a golf course on site, which is pretty cool if you're wanting to live in a facility with a lot of other people your own age and have lots of activities at your fingertips. It helps foster the community of like-mindedness and social activities for other people who are in the same boat as you. Within a retirement community, you may own your own place or may not. Oftentimes, there's apartment-style living situations, or it could be condos, townhouses, or even single-family homes. Another term that you may hear that's similar to a retirement community is an active adult community. This is designed for senior adults who don't need any assistance in daily life, completely independent of need for any housekeeping, any laundry, any day-to-day activities or memory assistance. This is for somebody who probably drives and is very independent and really just wants to live in an active community, like a retirement community, with other people their own age, with lots of activities and social interaction. Active adult communities are one of the most independent ways to live with seniors in one of these retirement communities. The next level of senior living that offers a little bit of support is independent living. Independent living communities are ideal for somebody who doesn't need help with the day-to-day functions of life, but may want a little bit less stress and responsibility than they would have living on their own. So often in these communities, you might live in an apartment or a condo, or maybe even a single-family home, but there are lots of things on site that are available to you. So maybe they've got a dining hall and you can do a dining package there. They often have events in the evening, like happy hours and get-togethers, or bingo, or music. Oftentimes there's also a facility there like a pool or a gym. Can be very similar to the retirement communities and the active adult communities, but with independent living you do get a little bit more support. In addition to taking some of the cooking off your plate, you may also have housekeeping available where they can help do your laundry and help clean your apartment or your home, which can really be a huge help for people with the physical labor of doing those daily tasks. So really nice to have that independent living. Plus, oftentimes they'll have caravans or vans that will take you off-site and go do fun activities throughout town. Sometimes they'll go wine tasting, or you'll go to the golf course, or you'll go see a movie or an opera. There's lots of really fun things these communities have cooking up their sleeves, so definitely check out independent living if this sounds like a good fit for you or your loved one. The next level of care up is assisted living communities. Assisted living facility is the next tier of service provided. In assisted living, the idea is that people are still operating their daily lives, living in the community as independently as possible, but knowing that they need assistance with most daily tasks. So in an assisted living facility, oftentimes Oftentimes you're in an apartment situation where maybe you have a roommate or maybe you live on your own, probably paying a little bit more if you want your own room, but might well be worth it. In these situations, there's somebody there to help bathe you, help dress you, help brush your teeth, prep your food. Meals are always provided in these situations. Some facilities charge extra per meal or for snacks. Some, it's an all-inclusive one package price. Just really depends on the facility. But they will provide meals on site. You can, of course, bring in your own food if your dietary restrictions allow it. But everything is pretty much done for you. And then it often encourages and fosters independent living as much as possible because they want you to be up and walking around and doing as much as you can on your own, but recognizing that for many things, often assistance is needed. These types of living situations can really vary. I've seen smaller communities that are like 5 to 15 people, and then I've seen a little bit bigger ones that are like 15 to 30, and then I've seen really big ones that can be 100 or 100 plus people living in one community. The assisted living communities are regulated. They do require a certain number of caregivers to residents on site. So in an assisted living facility, you need at least one caregiver for every 6 to 8 residents throughout the day. Overnight, there's also another ratio for caregivers to persons, but the idea is they're sleeping, so there's not as many people that need to be hands-on. But throughout the day, they're going to be there for you 24/7, and it's really helpful to have somebody there managing your medication, managing all of the day-to-day activities throughout the community. Oftentimes, they'll have music or movies and fun activities like maybe arts and crafts and maybe a little bit of like dancing or movement or just walking around the grounds if you're lucky to have a yard there. In addition to that being said, oftentimes excursions probably aren't happening off-site though. They're probably staying more on-site because off-site excursions would require more assistance and it's not as conducive to daily living in an assisted living facility to take an off-site excursion. When you're looking at assisted living facilities, it's always really good to ask a lot of questions and see the place and get a good tour for what's going on, especially if you're in an assisted living situation because you're going to be relying on the staff there to be the one helping you. I know when we were looking at assisted living facilities for my mother, we went and we toured the place. I went with my brother and my sister. We actually got to meet somebody who had their husband there. He had had a stroke and he needed an assisted living facility to take care of him because unfortunately his wife was just unable to take care of him and give him the care that he needed and deserved. But she came to visit him almost every day, which I thought was just so beautiful. And she was so helpful. She was able to tell us about the staff and tell us about what foods were the better foods and give us a good recommendation for, moving forward. It was a great facility. It ended up working out for the short time that my mother was there, and it was really a great move for her. It was a wonderful facility. It ended up working out for the short time that my mother stayed there, but we had a great experience, and I really think that it made a big difference because I did talk to somebody who had their loved one there. The staff was all wonderful when I met them. I would have loved them anyway, but talking to somebody who had their loved one staying there and getting that thumbs up and that A+ recommendation really sealed the deal for us. And it made us feel really confident in putting our mother there because, of course, you want what's best for mom. In assisted living facilities, don't forget the ratio of 1 to every 6 to 8 people. Definitely keep an eye out for other things throughout the facility. See how happy the other residents look. See what it looks like in there. Does it look clean? Is it dark? Is it bright? Do they have outdoor space? Do they have activities that you or your loved one are going to enjoy? What kind of things are people doing there when they're there? Are they just sitting and watching TV, or are they interacting and maybe playing cards or games? All of these things can really make or break your experience in a different type of community. I mention this because obviously when you're looking at independent living, you're going to be looking at all of this, but for assisted living and more intensive care, it's really important to make a good list of things that you want to look out for because you or your loved one is going to be relying on these people and these facilities to get throughout their daily life. The next level of care is a nursing home. Now, while an assisted living facility offers 24-hour care with all of your day-to-day activities, a nursing facility or a nursing home offers the same 24-hour care but with medical assistance. Nursing facilities will often have a nurse or a doctor on staff, whereas assisted living facilities won't. There's no medical professional on staff there. So that's the big difference would be the presence of a medical professional 24 hours a day. So it really depends on the needs of you or your loved one. If you need that extra level of care and you want a medical professional there, going for a nursing home is a great way to go. But if you don't need that medical professional on staff all the time and you just want to have access to your regular doctor as you've been doing, then going with assisted living is usually a really good way to go. One more thing to note, nursing homes don't have the same ratio requirements that assisted living facilities do. A nursing home actually varies because they have a certain number of hours that they need to provide each individual person at the facility. You need to have 3.5 hours of individual care per person there. So not having the ratio is said to have more flexibility with the medical professionals and the staff being able to see each person for a certain number of hours every day, rather needing a certain number of caregivers for every resident. Another adjunct to a nursing home or nursing facility is a skilled nursing facility. Skilled nursing is designed for people who need temporary support while they're overcoming a physical struggle. Oftentimes that means they've fallen and they've broken a bone, had an accident, and they've been injured and they need maybe physical support, emotional support, but they need some help. Or maybe they've had a surgery or procedure done and they need a few weeks of rehab. So the focus here is much more on rehab and getting the patient better and the hopes that they can go back home or to the community that they choose, and not staying in skilled nursing long term. Skilled nursing follows a lot of the similar guidelines that nursing homes do, so it's more about spending time with the patients and having medical staff present 24/7 rather than having it be a number of staff to residents staying there. Another type of community that may encompass a lot of these is a continuing care retirement community. And that's a community that's designed to have a lot of these array of services all in one spot. So maybe you start at a community care facility in independent living or in the active adult center. And then as you age and time goes on, perhaps you end up moving into assisted living or maybe into memory care. Maybe you even stay longer and you stay through the nursing facility. It just really depends on the needs of you and your loved ones. So if you're thinking about starting your journey into senior living communities, a great place that you may want to consider is continuing care communities so you can age in one place throughout the entire time. There's a lot to take in and think about when picking a facility for yourself or your loved one. A lot of seniors and their loved ones, of course, would rather age in place, but sometimes that's not always possible. It's really exciting for seniors and their loved ones to start looking at these different community options. When you're looking for a good community in your area, it's a great idea to tour a few. I know when we did for my mom, I think we toured 3 before we found the right one, and it was a perfect fit. We were very happy we did that because we got a different vibe from each one, and this one seemed to really fit what my mom was looking for. When you're going to tour senior facilities, it's always good to ask a lot of questions, and they can range a lot depending on your needs and the type of facility. So make sure you ask questions about what kind of activities they have, if they have events, and if they have people that come in from the outside to put on shows, or if you have movie nights or bingo. Ask if they do off-site excursions, so if there's transportation in and out of the facility, if they can take you to and from maybe your doctor appointments or take you shopping, or if you need to have your own car. Some places are more conducive to staying on site more. If there's more care that's needed and there's less off-site excursions, that's also good to know. Really good to ask about emergency procedures. What happens if there is an emergency? Who gets notified? Is there a list of people that they'll contact that you can provide, or what needs to happen there? Ask what happens if you do need to go to a doctor appointment, an emergency. Do they have transportation for that, or do you need to call an ambulance or have somebody come pick you up? Make sure you take a really good look around these facilities too. Take a look to see if you think it's clean enough, see if the staff looks happy, see if the residents look happy, and definitely try and talk to the residents. I had a really good experience, as I mentioned, talking to one of the loved ones of a resident at a place we were looking at for my mom, and having her A+ approval really went a long way and made us feel more confident and excited about having our mother stay there rather than going in just off of what the staff was saying and reading reviews online. That being said, reading reviews online can be hugely helpful, especially if they're positive or negative. You can also check to see if there's been any complaints filed against the facility that you're interested in. That would be a good thing to know as well. Make sure that their ratios of caregivers to residents is in line with what it's supposed to be for the type of care that their facility is saying that they're offering to. See if you can try their food. That's another really good way of seeing if you're going to be happy there, because I don't know about you, but if I was living somewhere and they were providing me meals and I didn't even like the food, I'd be pretty disappointed. So maybe see if you can get a meal out of it when you're touring the facility too. I hope that overview of different living options was really helpful. Sometimes we get people coming to us saying that themselves or their loved one need to move because they need assisted living or they need to live in a nursing home because things have progressed and it's time to have 24/7 care. While other times we get people who come to us and say, hey, I'm tired of dealing with my yard and sick of all the maintenance that this takes, and I feel a little bit lonely and isolated, and I want to live in a really vibrant seniors community. Can you help me make that transition? Because oftentimes when they do make that transition, hanging on to their house doesn't make a lot of sense anymore. And oftentimes the equity in the house helps fund the next phase of life and where they're going to move. So that can pay for things like the independent living, assisted living, nursing home, or perhaps memory care unit that they may need. We're here to help you and your senior loved ones with all things housing. So whether that means buying or selling or moving to a senior community, we're here to help 100%. We have tons of resources and experience working with seniors, and we are excited to help you in your neighborhood. So whether you or your loved one is thinking of moving in 9 days or 90 days, we'd love to meet you. We have a QR code in our banner if you want to book a free consultation. And we also have a toll-free number and our email address listed in our profile if you want to reach out to us with a call or an email anytime. I'm Andrea West, Seniors Real Estate Specialist. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope this was informative. Understanding and compassion are at the heart of what we do. Housing is at the center. Till next time.